Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most talked about moments in morning television history. The infamous clash between Hollywood icon Denzel Washington and Good Morning America co-host Michael Strahan that ended with Denzel storming off the set, leaving producers scrambling and viewers glued to their screens. It all unfolded on a crisp September morning in 2025, just as the fall TV season was heating up, with Denzel there to promote his latest directorial triumph, a gritty biopic on civil rights leader Malcolm X that promised to reignite debates on race, power, and legacy in America. The studio buzzed with anticipation, lights gleaming off polished surfaces, the scent of fresh coffee mingling with the faint hum of cameras, as Robin Roberts and George Stephanopoulos exchanged knowing glances from the sidelines, sensing the electric undercurrent. Michael Strahan, ever the charismatic ex-NFL star turned media darling, strode onto the set with his trademark megawatt smile, his broad shoulders filling out a tailored Navy suit that screamed confidence, ready to steer the conversation toward lighter fare, perhaps a quip about Denzel's intense workout regimen or a nod to his family's growing Hollywood dynasty. But beneath that polished veneer, tensions simmered from Strahan's recent brush with controversy. A viral clip from Fox NFL Sunday, where he stood for the national anthem without placing his hand over his heart, igniting a firestorm of accusations about disrespect to veterans and a divided nation still raw from election year divides. Social media had been ablaze for weeks, with hashtags like #StrahanScandal trending alongside petitions demanding his ouster from GMA and whispers in industry circles suggesting ABC execs were eyeing damage control. The tension escalated in the blink of an eye, the studio lights suddenly feeling hotter, more accusatory, as Denzel's piercing gaze locked onto Strahan's, the former athlete's easy grin faltering for the first time, replaced by a flicker of unease that his co-hosts, Robin and George, exchanged worried glances over, their hands hovering near invisible earpieces for producer cues that never came fast enough. What began as a seemingly innocuous exchange about Denzel's return to directing, his passion project on Malcolm X, filmed amid the 2024 wildfires that ravaged California sets, forcing reshoots in sweltering Arizona deserts where crew members bonded over shared exhaustion and Denzel's impromptu scripture readings at dawn call times, veered sharply into the minefield of Strahan's anthem faux pas, a moment that had polarized the nation like few others that year. Strahan, still smarting from the online vitriol that painted him as unpatriotic despite his decorated military family roots. His father, a Vietnam vet who taught him the salute solemnity, tried to steer back with a follow-up. But Denzel, speaking of fire, how do you handle the heat from critics who say Hollywood's too woke these days? It was a loaded question, bait disguised as banter, echoing the conservative pundits who'd lambasted Strahan for his gesture of indifference, and Denzel, ever the master of the monologue, didn't bite the hook. He swallowed it whole, his response a torrent of eloquence that laid bare the hypocrisy of performative patriotism in media empires built on black sweat and sideline stories. Michael, he began, his voice gaining that gravelly timbre reserved for training day interrogations. I've spent 40 years in this business watching men like you, strong, black, unbreakable, get torn apart not for what you do, but for how the world decides to see it. As the seconds ticked mercilessly toward the break, the atmosphere in the GMA, the studio, thickened into something almost tangible, a fog of unresolved grievances and unspoken alliances that clung to every corner. From the gleaming coffee table strewn with prop mugs of steaming lattes to the velvet ropes sectioning off VIP fans whose wide eyes reflected the unfolding drama like mirrors to a nation's soul. Denzel Washington, the two-time Oscar winner whose filmography spanned from Shakespearean soliloquies to streetwise sagas, had always been a beacon of controlled intensity. But here, stripped of retakes and edits, his facade cracked just enough to reveal the prophet beneath the performer, a man who'd mentored countless young talents, including Strahan during a charity event years prior where they'd bonded over golf swings and gospel choirs, sharing laughs about navigating fame's double-edged sword. Now, That mentorship curdled into critique as Denzel pressed on, his gestures expansive yet precise, hands carving the air like a conductor summoning a symphony of reckoning. Bridge the gap? Michael, the gap's been there since they built this country on our backs. And shows like this, they widen it with feel-good segments that gloss over the grit. Your anthem stand was real, raw, unpolished, and that's why they're coming for you. Not because you disrespected a flag, but because you reminded folks it's okay to honor it your way, without the script. Strahan's face, usually a canvas of affable charm that won him Emmys and endorsement deals from toothpaste to trucks, flushed with a mix of indignation and introspection, his massive frame shifting in the seat that suddenly felt too small as he countered with the fervor of a quarterback rallying his line. Denzel, I respect the lesson, always have from glory to your sermons on set. But this job, it's about connecting, not confronting every camera. I've got kids watching, veterans of my family emailing hate mail. And yeah, it stings. Commercial break hit like a mercy rule in overtime. The screen filling with ads for sugary cereals and electric cars that promised freedom on four wheels. But backstage at GMA, freedom felt like a distant dream as producers herded Denzel and Strahan into a green room swathed in neutral grays, the door clicking shut behind them with the finality of a vault, leaving the air thick with the aroma of stale danishes and the faint buzz of overhead fluorescents that cast long shadows on faces etched with post-adrenaline strain. Robin and George hovered at the periphery, offering bottled waters and whispered encouragements. It's all good TV, guys. Passion sells, while execs via intercom urged a reset. Keep it light. Promote the movie. No more deep dives. Denzel, pacing the carpet like a caged panther from one of his action flicks, accepted a water but didn't sip, his mind clearly elsewhere, replaying the exchange with the analytical precision of a method actor deconstructing a scene, knowing full well the viral vortex it had unleashed. Already, his phone vibrated silently with text from Spike Lee. You dropped truth bombs, brother. And Oprah, call me. Let's unpack this on the couch. Strahan, slumped on a worn leather sofa that had hosted presidents and pop stars, rubbed his temples, the weight of dual controversies. His anthem gaffe compounding this live-wire interview. Pressing like a sack from a blindside blitz, his mind flashing to his daughters' faces, wondering how to spin this for them without diminishing the dignity Denzel had demanded. The room's tension was a living thing, coiling tighter with each tick of the wall clock as a junior producer, clipboard in hand, ventured a peacemaking ploy. Mr. Washington, perhaps we soften the film's tie-in to current events? Focus on the triumphs. Denzel's laugh was low, rumbling like distant thunder. Softened? Son, Malcolm X didn't soften for the cameras. He sharpened, with the clock mercilessly winding down on the segment. The GMA set transformed into a coliseum of words, gladiators in suits clashing under the glare of Klieg lights that amplified every beat of sweat, every twitch of a jawline, as Denzel's retort to Strahan's harmony quip sliced through the din like a director's cut to the chase scene. Harmony? Michael, that's the myth they sell us. Sing along, don't stir the pot. But Malcolm didn't harmonize with the status quo. He harmonized with history, with the ancestors who built this without a note of thanks. And you, standing there without the hand, that was your solo, loud and clear, and it's echoing louder than any apology they want you to croon. The audience erupted. A standing ovation from the back rose, swelling forward. Chants of Denzel. Denzel, mingling with scattered boos aimed at the invisible forces of network censorship. While Strahan's face cycled through crimson to ashen, his broadcaster's poise fracturing as he rose fully now, towering yet vulnerable, voice booming over the chaos. Solo? Damn right it was. But solos don't pay the bills when sponsors pull ads and fans unfollow. You got the luxury of walking off into sunsets, dens. Some of us grind here daily, bridging worlds you critique from the multiplex. It was the rawest admission yet, stripping the gloss from morning TV's facade, revealing the grind of a man who'd traded shoulder pads for suit jackets, only to face the same tackles from public opinion, his words resonating with crew members who nodded surreptitiously, their own long hours fueling quiet solidarities. Robin Roberts, ever the anchor in storms, gripped her desk edge, her interjection a lifeline tossed. Whoa, fellas, this is why these talks matter. Denzel, Michael's right. It's a team sport out here. But Denzel, undeterred, his chair abandoned as he stood to match Strahan's height, delivered the coup de grace with preacher's fire. Team sport? Then play like champions, not cheerleaders.